Today's episode is brought to you by Birmingham Breadworks. They've been serving up amazing sourdough bread, European-style pastries, pizza, soups, sandwiches, all made from scratch since 2014. Everything they make is fresh. No preservatives, no additives. Just simple, clean ingredients. Their cafe is the perfect cozy spot with natural lighting, warm wooden tones, and art from local students and photographers. It's perfect to grab a coffee or something delicious to eat. Plus, they're big on sustainability as a gold-level member of the EAT, Earth Aware team. Stop by Birmingham Breadworks and taste the difference of fresh, local food. From Where to Here is independently produced by me, Alexandra Lloyd, crafted with curiosity, culture, and a little bit of coffee. Hi, I'm Alexandra Lloyd, a French-Canadian who's called Birmingham, Alabama home since 2017. Welcome to From Where to Here, the podcast that celebrates the rich diversity of languages, cultures, and the stories that connect us all. Each month, I'll sit down with inspiring guests from different backgrounds to explore their cultures, languages, and tackle some fun in our Truth, Dare, or Debunk segment. Whether you're a language enthusiast, a culture lover, or just curious about the world, you're in the right place. Let's dive into your next favorite cultural adventure. Today's episode is extra special. We're diving into our guest journey from Ukraine to the United States, more specifically, Alabama, and her inspiring path to starting her own local business. My guest is Lisa Strelnikova, owner of Cake Honeys, the best Ukrainian cakes, an authentic European homemade dessert. If you haven't tried, you have to try. It's amazing.
Thank you.
We will dive into topics like navigating cultural identity in a new country, food as a gateway to cultural understanding, and also what home means when you're far from it. But before we dive in, we'll play a little game. And together we'll debunk myths, share personal stories, and hopefully inspire you to see the world through a broader lens. Lisa, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
Very excited to just get to know you a little bit more and hear about your story because you have a very, very interesting one.
I agree. Yes. Okay.
Let's kick things off with a fun game, and I call it Truth, Dare, or Debunk. You'll choose either a truth, where you share a surprising cultural fact about your culture. A dare, you will teach us a phrase in your native language, could be anything, or a debunk where you clarify a common stereotype about your culture. So something that we might have a misconception about, and you will clear things up for us. And that's the debunk. Would you pick truth, dare, or debunk?
I mostly pick the truth.
Okay. So you'll share a surprising cultural fact. What's one thing about your culture that people assume is true, but actually is?
Ukrainians do drink pretty strong alcohol. Actually, just recently, I shared with a friend that the alcohol consumed in Ukraine can be up to 100% of alcohol.
100%.
He didn't believe me. He was like, "How can you even drink that? Will you survive after something like that?" And so it is a surprising fact, I guess, since somebody was surprised. And I said that, yeah, the strongest I've tried was 90%, and here I am. So it's not that bad. Yeah, burning, but and it's not like you drink it in large amounts.
So is it a shot or a glass or
a
how?
Shot?
A shot.
Yeah. You usually just take sips.
Sips of the shot?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It is very strong.
Okay.
It's an unusual sensation.
Do you pair it with any food or anything else?
Yes, you might want to have a bite of something right after.
What do you typically
Mm,
pair it with?
culturally, it would be something like a salted pickle, say, salted cucumber pickle, or a mushroom, marinated mushroom, let's say, can be something like that.
Okay. Do you homemade those or do you buy them?
We have homemade options. We have some varieties to buy. Also, one of an interesting alcohol beverage that we have in Ukraine that was also surprising to my local friend when I shared about a story about it. It's called perцовка. It's like a strong alcohol beverage with red pepper flavor. It's like vodka that has been fermented somehow with red pepper.
Okay.
Or red peppers were soaked in it for a long time. So it has this very strong and very hot flavor.
Yum.
Yeah.
I wish we can try some of these. Do you do any fermentation at home or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Me personally, I don't. And I just shared like a fact. It doesn't mean that I'm like personally very much into it.
Okay. Okay.
Just a fact.
I love it.
The truth.
That's a good one because I think that's something that a lot of people just assume, but then it's true. This one turns out to be true. Okay, really good. Let's do round 2. Truth, dare, or debunk.
Okay, remind me what the last one is.
Debunk is debunking a myth. So we might have where you clarify a common stereotype about your culture.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, debunk. Okay.
Okay.
So for debunk, what's the biggest stereotype maybe about your culture that's totally false?
I need to think a little bit on this one.
Take your time.
It's not something, I guess, not something like a fact. It's more like an impression that I have noticed that people here, or maybe just in any other countries, they didn't realize how developed and modern Ukraine was right before the war started, and how happy and proud we were of our country, and that we were happy and content, and we never wanted to leave. And so this is why sometimes we're as much as we're appreciated of all the help and support, we're still missing our country very much. Yes, it has, you know, like when you compare something with something else, you sometimes start to value what you had more than when you actually had it, because you were taking it for granted. And then with time you realize that all that you had, you know, how amazing it was. We had, like, one of my personal observations, we had the most amazing banking system in the world. The best.
How so?
We had the most convenient online banking, where money transferring, payments, documents, statements was so convenient, available, fast. Like you could send money to like any other cards, accounts easily and fast. It was just
Internationally?
including internationally.
Yeah, here it's complicated.
I know,
isn't it?
like when we had this fundraising, so we had a Ukrainian friend, Ilona. I think maybe it will be important that I mention that.
Please.
We met here. She was going through a rehabilitation. She was a volunteer in Ukraine, a frontline volunteer, and she lost her fiance in that war and her brother, and she was very, very mentally disturbed. So her time here, she was working with the children, and she was just, going through a certain healing process. We met coincidentally. Somebody just saw my treats, Ukrainian treats at the market, and decided to share it with her, and she texted me an appreciative text on Instagram, telling me how much it meant to her, to have that small reminder of home. And we started communicating. She eventually, as our friendship grew and developed, she started coming to the market and then just hanging out with us, helping
Pepper
a lot.
Place Market.
Pepper Place Market, yes. A lot of people have seen her there. And eventually with time she made a decision to go back
To Ukraine.
to Ukraine.
Okay.
She left in the end of November. She's there
How long
now.
has she stayed in Alabama?
Something a little more than a year.
Okay.
So she went back, and when she was leaving, we decided that we don't want her to leave empty-handed because of what she is doing there, her missionary work. My friend and I, my partner in my business, we arranged a fundraising. We were making Thanksgiving meals.
Oh, wow.
Like dinners for two.
And just to clarify, when you say your business partner, is it with the company that also is at Pepper Place Market, the local market? Her name
is Olga.
Olga. Okay,
Yes.
that's who I know.
Yes, she was also. She could be seen with me at the Pepper Place Market too. Yes. So we became very close friends. We didn't want her to leave empty-handed, so we arranged that fundraising. We raised a certain amount of money. I think it was about like $2,600.
Wow.
And we really wanted her to go there and find people who need help. And so she did. It was challenging because of the war situation and because of where she is, the region, because, she has to be closer to the front line.
Yeah.
And so between all the shelling and attacks, she was able to buy some food packages and candies for the children.
Wow.
And just recently, just some days before Christmas, she sent us some videos and pictures. We asked her for that because we wanted the people who were involved, who were donating money, who were helping, we wanted them to see what they have achieved.
Wow. The impact they had in other people's life in Ukraine.
It was heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time.
Is this video public?
We have not published it yet. We have been asked for it, but Christmas, we didn't even expect that she will be able to do it on time, like for Christmas to share it. So we just received it, but I can share it with you, of course. That's just talking about Ukraine and the current situation and the impact that small something that we're doing here can result as a very big impact on somebody's just, I guess, can support somebody's hope and dreams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, and we want to keep doing that. I mean, our business from the beginning had to have more of a purpose than money making.
Mm-hmm.
It started as just sharing. I guess it was very simple and silly in the beginning when I tried local sweets that are not bad, just something
Mm-hmm.
I was not used to.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make something, even though I never really baked at home.
Really? Okay.
No,
Okay.
it was just like a hobby and a rare occasion because I was busy with my other occupation, and
What was your other occupation at the time?
it was a fashion business, a factory that was producing women's outerwear, and I was really very much into it, in designing, like selecting fabrics, making photo shoots for the new collections. So we're very much into it. Right now it sounds like it's been all happening in my previous life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Does it still exist?
No, unfortunately, no. My city and the factory and the warehouses has been damaged.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. At some point, we managed to get some of the codes that survived here.
Mm.
We got them here, and so it's sometimes shocking and surprising to me to see a reminder
Yeah. Wow.
of that old life on somebody.
Do you, yeah, and that actually, that allusion to your previous life, is it something that is it how you think of when you used to live in Ukraine? Is that how you often perceive it as, oh, this was my other life?
I shared this with some of my friends, and I guess to answer this question, I'll have to go back and tell a little bit of my story of why I ended up here in Alabama and Birmingham. I have been here. I have lived here previously as a child at the age of like 11 to 13 years old. My father was working here. He was a portrait artist, and he was closely connected to the people who I call my local family right now. The friends who have been supporting him are very much supporting me right now. So I have been here before. It was such a long time ago that all these memories kind of faded. I remembered my friends. I remembered, some of the local landscapes and places. But it was so vague after all these years.
So that was just so we put a time frame a little bit, but how old were you at that time? You said
was
your dad
11 when I came, and I was and we left in my, I think, 13th year.
Okay.
And
Okay,
now
so
I'm
old enough.
40. So it's been
so old enough to remember some of the places, like you
yes.
said.
But you're asking if I'm referring to my life in Ukraine as as my previous life. And I'm trying to answer. That is a very weird experience because having these memories faded, but still remembering Alabama and some of the people and my friends and some of the moments that I've cherished throughout my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming back here and walking like the same roads, the same streets, meeting the same people, at some point made me confused. I did not know which was the real life.
Wow.
I was even telling some of my friends that I had an impression that I died because it was so like mind breaking,
Mm-hmm.
This whole experience as if I dreamt about my life in Ukraine, or this is not real. I was just confused. It was very
Well,
weird. So I don't know. I still don't know which is the real life.
that's an interesting perspective. Well, it really touched me, you sharing that, because I would not have think of it this way. And you saying that makes sense based on the fact that like you have those, it's kind of flashes maybe, like looking back of,
Yes.
oh, I've met that person, or I've been here before.
Yes, yes. When we just came here, and we used to live in the Grassland Village area, and I, I was sure that I would recognize everything, but Piggly Wiggly moved, and I got lost.
Piggly Wiggly.
And I got lost because of that, because I knew where I thought it was supposed to be, and it moved.
Yeah.
That was so unfair.
Piggly Wiggly for you, that was
Yeah.
the point of reference. That's what made you
Whatever
say, okay,
you do,
I go
just
there.
find Piggly Wiggly, and then you'll figure it out.
Yeah. Their branding is pretty clear too, with
Yes.
the pig head, so
Very noticeable.
very noticeable.
Yes, but who would have thought that the whole thing would just move?
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, Lisa. I really appreciate it. And going back to then you coming here. So when I first met you, it was through our friends, Ellen. We were, I believe, to Nicholas's birthday, which is her husband. And so my husband and I were at the party, and Helen told me about this very touching story about you coming from Ukraine to here. And that was a couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago. And I think I literally had a tear. It just was very, very moving. And you made a birthday cake that day for Nicholas. It was delicious.
Oh, thank you so much.
I've never had a cake like this before. And those little walnut cookie, I think that's how you call it.
Walnut cookies, yes.
Delicious.
Thank you.
We had a great time, and I don't know if I got to meet you that day or if it was later on.
No, I think that day, Ellen, who is my friend from the past and from today, and she's the part of my, I call, adopted family, and the family that has been supporting my parents, and Ellen has been a friend to my mom, and now she has become a very good and very supportive friend for me and all the family. They really are like my adopted family. We spend all the holidays together, which makes me very happy, and every time I'm trying to implement some of our Ukrainian traditions into their local, ways of celebrating the holidays. Except, of course, I did not interfere with Thanksgiving. Like, nothing to share on that account.
You don't have any traditions for Thanksgiving? Is that what you're saying?
We don't have Thanksgiving.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Except that when we were doing the fundraising meals, it was like my friend, my partner, Olga, she created a Thanksgiving dinner with all the dishes that Americans usually have, but she made it our way, like with Ukrainian hands. Like, how would we bake that turkey, how we would make that cranberry sauce, something like that.
Okay.
But yesterday for Christmas, we had a dinner party, and I used to bake ducks for our Ukrainian Christmas. And my friend and I, we baked a couple of ducks, and Olga reserved a jar of cranberry and orange sauce. We mashed the potatoes and we brought it for dinner, and everybody enjoyed it. So it was
That's
like
awesome.
a part of, our Ukrainian Christmas traditions. So we had the lunch local traditional style, and the dinner was very Ukrainian.
That's awesome. Is it in the ingredients that you use or the way you cook it that
I think
it's
starting
different?
from the fact that we have dogs
Okay.
for
Okay.
Christmas, baked
Yeah.
dogs. And then I think, yeah, maybe the way we prepare it, we bake it stuffed with apples and rubbed with honey and cinnamon and salt and pepper, and it's very fragrant. And because of all, sometimes we stuff it with with apples and oranges, and you just have to imagine this fragrance of a
Ooh,
baking
yeah.
dog with all these spices. It's amazing.
Wow, I can imagine. Yeah. That must be smelling the whole house
Everybody
for hours.
enjoyed that tradition, and I
Wow.
think it's going to stick.
Yeah, okay.
Looks
Okay.
like it's
So
going
it's
to
becoming a staple.
Yes,
Yeah.
like for example, we I think the first year since I moved here, I was making Glintwein,
What's that?
the glue wine, the German mode wine.
Is it warm?
Yes, it's
Okay.
hot,
Okay.
with spices.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I know what that
The
is. Yeah.
spiced wine, yes.
Okay. Love that.
And this Thanksgiving, I had a lot of work orders, and I couldn't stay for long, and I didn't make the Glint wine, and everybody was like,
Where is the wine?
"What happened? Where did our new tradition go?"
Yeah.
So I made it yesterday.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is very a comforting type of alcohol. Not as strong as straight vodka.
As we discussed earlier,
Mhm.
it's relatively strong.
Okay. Yours is what alcohol do you use in your spiced
Oh
wine?
no, for Glint wine, it's just the regular wine, except
Okay.
that our wines are different from the beginning. So the most popular wines in our area were produced in Crimea before all the conflict situation started. We were much like France, I'd say, in that we had different, like, small wineries that grew their own grapes and produced their own limited editions of wines, like the chateaus in France.
Okay. Okay.
Something like
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
with our own hint of, our Ukrainian authenticity, maybe. Altogether, our wines are a level or two sweeter than the wines that are common here, I'd say. It took me a while to get used to these sour wines. The most popular kind of wine would be semi-sweet.
Okay. So
Something
you use
between.
sweeter wine for
Only
that
sweeter.
mule.
Yes, from the beginning we do use sweeter wine, sometimes
Mhm.
port wines. Because I had to use regular Pinot Noir, I've added quite an amount of honey to
Okay.
it, just to reach the needed level of sweetness, what I'm used to, I guess.
Yeah.
Everybody liked it though.
But there's no stores that you could find sweeter wine from other countries?
That's another interesting story. We have a traditional, I guess it's called a church wine. It's called kagor. A wine that is that is used for communions, and that we have for religious holidays. It's called kagor. It is produced by Moldova, Romania, Armenia, Georgia, Ukraine was producing its own. There must be some factories still operating, I hope.
Yeah.
And so it's basically a thick, sweet dessert wine. We managed to order some. So friends helped me get it. We ordered, it was delivered to Georgia, to their address, and they just brought it here. It was so complicated, but we were so happy to have it last night.
Oh.
Yes. And everybody really enjoyed it, and we are thinking that maybe this this wine can be used for our communions sometimes on very special occasions because, to my opinion, or maybe I'm just used to it, on the blood of Christ does not taste like grape juice, more like a strong and, flavorful poured wine. And one of my childhood memories, since I remember the communions, was this feeling, this burning feeling inside when you take your communion, that to me as a child, it meant like something special, something sacred is going on. It was so bright, so strong, so impressed me so much that I really truly believed and felt the power of communion. So here in our independent Presbyterian church, this was the only thing that I was missing. I really love our communion, our fellowship, my church family here. But that was just something that I think we could, change.
Okay.
Something that we could alter in our services.
So I'm not very familiar with how that works necessarily. When you say communion, is it the moment where you would drink? So you're saying you would have the wine, and then here you don't have that moment?
We do have that moment, except that it's the grape juice that represents the blood of Christ.
Okay. So you don't have that burning sensation, like you're saying.
It's just a few drops of wine. Basically, it's just a piece of bread that represents the body of Christ broken for you, and you dip it into the wine, like supposedly, which represents the blood of Christ that is shed for you. And yes, when it's this bright, flavorful, strong port wine, you feel this burning sensation, and you feel the mystery, the importance of the moment, And when it's grape juice, you kind of blood of Christ is no grape juice.
So in Ukraine, even as a kid, you would
absolutely. It's just a few drops.
Yep.
Some medicine has some medicine has pretty much the same amount of alcohol, just for better observance, I guess.
Okay. Keeps you healthy during harsh winter.
Yes.
It builds how do you say, like your immune system. It strengthens your immune system, probably.
This is what my grandfather used to say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So is this something that on a weekly basis, every Sunday, every time you go to church?
Yeah,
or,
we do it. We have two services. We have the classic service in the sanctuary. There they have communion occasionally, rarely, I would say. And then we have a casual service with amazing modern music.
Okay.
I really love it. It's at 5:00. The time is very convenient too for me. And there we have communion every Sunday, yes.
Wow.
So maybe we should try the wine.
Yeah. Maybe that's something they should consider introducing to the service.
It's casual.
Yeah.
And it's 5:00. Kids don't come there a lot.
So you said 5:00 is convenient for you. Is it because of your typical schedule, the time you usually have dinner, or what does it look like for you, like in terms of the times?
It's just that it's my only day off, and sometimes it's hard to commit to the morning services, and I really love to be there. I understand, like one of my older friends and members of the church would say that, make it work, I mean, God deserves better than that. But we're human. And there's only so much that we are capable of.
Mm-hmm. There's only so many hours in a day, so you gotta.
Yes.
Sometimes
This is
it might
same how
work
I
well.
see it, and I have a son, and sometimes I really want to spend time with him in the morning because school, and he's the same, doesn't have too many days off from school. Yeah.
You shared with me and with us a little bit about some of the things that are different from Ukraine to Birmingham, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if we go back a bit when you first got here, or the second time. So not in your very, very young age.
Yes, I understand.
Which was teenager,
which was
but
recently.
The most recently, which was 3-4 years ago or so, a couple of years ago.
It was June 2022. It was some more than 2 years ago.
Okay. So in that moment, if you bring yourself back to that moment, how did it feel to be here? Or can you like share with us a little bit, like what was that process like for you and your family?
It has been stressful, of course, because I would have loved to visit, and I was happy to be here, except for the reasons why I came here, and I had like a postponed stressful reaction, which was funny. As a child, I used to ride horses here a lot, and I never did before coming here again. I never I wasn't riding in Ukraine. So when I just came, my friend Ellen, she told me that the best thing, according to her opinion, like the best way of getting over stressful situations is like the best thing is a horse therapy. And so we got on horsebacks and we were riding often, going on trail rides in the woods. It was amazing. And we would ride for hours. I remember once she and we just got on horseback and we talked and talked and talked until somebody called us. Called her from the barn asking like, where are you? It's been like 3 hours or more, and we didn't feel it. And then with time, maybe a year passed, I started to be afraid of like downhills, rocky roads, and I started complaining and insisting that we choose the flattest trail, and Ellen and other friends that have been riding with us, they were asking like, what happened to you? You were not afraid of anything when you came. We were riding, like you were never complaining. You were like, you would go through whatever. And I realized, it made me think like, really, why? And I realized that I was just so shocked from all the changes, from everything that had happened, that I didn't realize the danger. I was in an autopilot mode, I guess. Then with time, as I started to getting back to my normal cowardly self, yes, I started being concerned about, like we can fall actually. Do you all understand that this is a dangerous? Yeah, that was funny, but it kind of, I guess, answers your question, how I felt when coming back here. For a long time, I did not acknowledge even how I felt. It was just life kept going. I think baking was one of the other things that has been distracting me from thinking, from processing all that has been too painful to process at that moment, that I just needed, time to, I guess, just to make it a little bit less painful. Yeah, so that has happened due to the war in Ukraine. I mean, that part. And that's not what we're discussing here. So I just want to say that the baking was another thing that was helping me get over what I was going through. It had several reasons. First of all, it kept me busy, and it's just personal. It's just a part of my personality. I do need to be busy with something, be productive. I'm an overachiever. So
I was about to ask if you've always been like that, or if
Yes.
it's something that you developed after.
No,
and you had the need.
I think I have been born with
Yeah.
those, yes, with those traits. First of all, I had to be busy with something just for myself, because this is who I am. Secondly, I wanted to do something creative. It kept my mind at peace. And then I wanted to share some good stuff with the people I loved. I wanted to show that there is something, just something good, something delicious that I want to share, that I want you all to know that it exists. And it was so common for us, and it felt unfair that you don't have it here. And
What do you think was missing here?
Well, our sweets, definitely.
Sweets and
Our sweets, our cakes. And I do have to explain the background of that.
please.
I was just recently thinking about it, actually, and discussing this with a friend. I was thinking about how happy I am and lucky to be born exactly at that time and place where I have been born. We have collected so much inheritance, that the place we are like exactly in the middle of the map, if you look at it. So we had the influence of the old Russian Empire. If you know the history well enough, there was this time of the history of Russian Empire when everything French was so popular and fashionable and trendy, when almost all educated people spoke French. They adopted crepes, eclairs. One of our most popular cakes is called Napoleon. That inheritance. And then the Soviet Union, when they were capable of creating amazing cakes from nothing. Like sometimes they ask me, like, what is it? What's in that cake that makes it so good? I'm like, it's just eggs and flour and honey and sour cream and butter. That's all.
Very clean ingredients.
It's all about the technique. It's all about like some time ago, some talented person had just that to make a cake from. Some of the cakes are just like that. They're plain and simple.
Yeah.
And from this same amount, like same package of ingredients, there are several absolutely different cakes. This is amazing. And then our like location of the country. We border with Poland, with Romania, Moldova. We are so close to Europe that the cultural exchange was very fluent. So we also adopted a lot of European tradition, so which we kind of consider our own, because Western Ukraine is very European. From there, I guess I knew about Esterházy cake, which is Hungarian, Pani Walewska cake, which is Polish, apple strudel that a lot of countries claim. It's something European, obviously.
So the inspiration,
And many more.
it comes from all the different countries, all these influences.
Yes, I mean that we were soaking in all this influence. Like if you, and why would I bring it up? Why would I want to make it? Because I've had it. Because it was common. It was everywhere. Like you would go to whatever a decent cafe or restaurant, and you would find it there. They would offer you Esterházy, they would offer tiramisu, which is Italian. You will also have a Napoleon, which was created in the Soviet Union. You would have something very Ukrainian. You would have something absolutely not Ukraine related. So this is why I guess I'm grateful for my experience. This is what I was saying, that I'm grateful to be here now. And I absolutely love my local family and friends. I have been missing this too. I was also maybe not fully content, without having this part of my life in my life for all these years. I mean, my memories, my friends, because when we left, I was still a child, and there was no internet back then. It's been years and years ago, so we did lose contact at some point.
With people here?
Yes.
Okay.
And we reconnected only after all these years. And now, in a way, despite what's happening in my country right now, I still feel that I have gained something I was missing. I want to go back to how the business started.
Okay, yeah, please.
So it started with basically just sharing my experience. I just baked a honey cake for no reason, for wanting to share. Just, I guess it was something like easier to show than to explain,
So to share with others so they can try it.
Yes, with my friends, so they can try it.
Yeah.
And then I was remembering other things that I have tasted, and it was again easier to make it and let them try than to say something like, I remember there was this delicious cake, Or just make it and share it.
So you started doing it for your friends, for people that you know, and then how did it?
And then how most of the businesses start. Somebody said you could, something like, oh, you could sell this.
Yeah.
And yes, this is it happened kind of itself. Things that are really meant to be, they just happen. Like the right people come into your life, situations happen, coincidences happen for reasons you don't really understand.
So true.
And I found myself at the Pepperland Place market selling my cakes, and with absolutely zero experience of working in food industry. So it has been a learning process, but the good thing is that I have always loved to learn. Everything, anything.
So you have a learner mindset.
Yes.
Like you're always curious about things. That's a good skill to have. I mean,
I was interested, I was curious, I was into it, I still am very passionate about it. And same about the customer service. I guess I have been very observant. I always appreciated feedback. Yes, maybe I'm not very tolerant to criticism. But this is maybe why I have been so hardworking on avoiding flaws to make my customers just happy, so I don't hear the criticism, because there's nothing to criticize.
So how did you come up with the recipes?
Some of the recipes I have known from my grandmother, from just hanging out around in the kitchen growing up, you know. Some of the recipes I had to take lessons to learn how to make something that required almost deep knowledge of chemistry and chemical reactions in the process of baking, crystallization processes, mousses, you know. But it's just it has always been a rough draft for me. I would make something, we would sample it, and right away I feel what I don't like about it, and I make my improvements. And it was so funny recently. I think I'm like that crazy professor sometimes. I remember people came to pick up a Napoleon cake. It was right before Christmas, and they just rolled their window, and I was handing them the cake, and they were obviously in a hurry. And I was like, this is the Napoleon cake, and I started telling them how different this Napoleon cake is from whatever Napoleon
the
cake
whole story about the cake.
Had. Like how many times I have been updating this recipe, like really crazy professor.
Oh, wow.
And then by their reaction, I realized that, they just want to roll up the window and get going. And so... Yes, what I'm saying is that I'm really passionate about it, and
That's awesome.
always do. I have my own way of seeing, of tasting, of understanding how I want my cakes to be, the textures, the flavors, the colors, everything. So some recipes, yes, some new things, they start with whatever raw recipe. I have a friend in Ukraine. She's related to restaurant business.
Okay.
She's an educated baker and candy maker.
Okay.
A pastry chef, I guess. She studied in London, La Cordon Bleu school. And so sometimes she helps me with my recipes. But one of the cakes that, the recent ones that I got from her, the recipe, already I understand. And it's probably because of this never-ending learning process that I have been going through. When I even started with that recipe, I already knew what I am going to do differently about it. So I guess also I reached a point where looking at the recipe is enough for me to understand that it's not going to work or what's wrong with it or exactly, why this
You
is
have
not
your
a
own
good one.
standards.
Yes,
Things
my own
that
standards. And also sometimes you collect, all this information. Like you have all these kinds of sponge cakes, all these kinds of icings, all these kinds of mousses, ganaches, confits that you've been working with, and then you just create your own stuff, your own combinations of all of that, and your own way, just by using your imagination of how this will come together and how
So you're creative.
flavors will blend.
Oh, yeah. Do you have more of a sweet or salty tooth?
Oh, this is the funny part. I'm almost sugar-free in my everyday
no
life,
way. Okay.
except of my own sweets, and I don't eat much. I guess it's more about just sampling and understanding the the levels of sweetness, the flavors. I guess this is all I eat
Okay.
from the sweets. And it was so funny. There are so many memes on the on social media about that. The family of the baker get, like like, this is what my customers get, and this amazing cake with all these decorations. It's so pretty, it's so looking delicious, and this is what my family gets, this cut off uneven edges. And you think if you should throw it or they will eat it.
You sell all this sweet, you make all the sweets, but then at home you don't consume as much as obviously you sell.
Yes.
It's like a small part of your diet, or
I guess I just it's limited by having to eat something to understand where I'm at with my recipes. I guess that's what I limit myself to. I would have been completely sugar-free, I guess, if not for like having to understand what I'm making for my customers.
Okay.
I used to be completely sugar-free, and I think, except like not completely, I would treat myself like once a week. And to my opinion, this all explains why the desserts that I make are very low on sugar. And I have a slogan, I guess, that this is the healthiest that the sweets can get.
Yep.
Because of all the homemade ingredients and all the high quality ingredients and low sugar level, substituting the sugar with honey or like monk fruit or whatever, wherever it's possible. So I used to, when I considered myself sugar-free, I used to treat myself once a week, maybe, but it had to be worth it. It had to be absolutely worth it. I was thinking, if I eat that sugar, it better taste like heaven. So it's it's still the same for me. I think that if my customers eat that sweet cake, it better be worth it.
Well, what I really like is that it's sweets, but it's not overly sweet, so it doesn't overpower you.
Yes.
Tell me, with the business, so what can we wish you for the future?
I've met my partner,
Yeah.
Olga, and we were thinking, like, I'm in charge of the sweets, definitely. That is something I'm passionate about, and not something I need to learn to delegate, actually.
Oh, okay.
Something I really want to be in charge of, because sweets, like the cakes, it also has not only the creativity of like creating the flavors part, it also has the decoration part that I also enjoy very much, and I never consider it work. Sometimes when I get tired with baking, I rest with decorating. It balances it all out. I get recharged, energized, and I feel completely rested and at peace, thanks to the creative part of the decorating. And we decided that why are we only doing sweets? There is so much more. We have all these delicious, healthy homemade soups. We have all these Ukrainian dumplings,
Yum.
cabbage rolls. The Ukrainian borscht even itself is worth sharing.
Yeah.
So, and she has been very passionate about cooking. It's her love language.
Okay.
It's her way of showing affection. It's like feeding people. I've been observing some small things about her, like whenever her friends are like feeling down or going through tough times in life, she's there. She's there with a pot of soup and, you know, something delicious, something homemade, made with love. And she has the same criteria as I do, same level. She always uses good ingredients. She's looking just for the best. It must be healthy, it must be organic, it must be flavorful. She's also updating her recipes all the time. She's not somebody who would say, you know, it's fine, they'll eat it. No. She believes that it must be enjoyable.
Okay. Are you able to find all the ingredients you need at the grocery stores? Or do you have to order online?
A lot. We have to order online. Like, for
Okay.
example, for my cakes, I have to order some of the berries that just don't grow in Alabama.
Yeah.
Probably because of, you know, weather, climate conditions. So I have to order them, like black currants and tart cherries, all of that we use a lot. And the gooseberries, I think.
Okay.
I forgot the
don't
English
know
term
those.
for it. I think the gooseberries too. Yeah, so we do order some things, and some we just, if you look well enough, you can find. So yes, we seek and you shall find, I think. And we find it mostly. And we decided to, like, we gave her some time. She was experimenting. Like, we were trying to understand how the local society will accept our food. Will it be appreciated? Will the people here enjoy it? Will they understand even like something?
And the quality that you're offering. I mean,
yes, but also we had to work out a certain price range because a lot of the ingredients are pretty pricey because they're rare. So we were working on it for almost a year. She's been helping me at the market. She has been assisting me sometimes with baking. She has been working on her recipes mostly for friends and family this level. But now we're thinking to unite our efforts, and we're about to go through rebranding process.
Okay.
We just registered the new LLC.
Are you allowed to share what it's going to be called?
Yes, since we registered the name, so it's going to be called The Handle. It's in Ukrainian. A handle, it's a like a small bistro that offers. It's a very old word, a very old term.
How do you spell it?
It's Handel.
Okay.
At the same time, it's the last name of a composer, that British German Handel composer.
Okay.
So we thought, we like the name because the Handel in Ukrainian means the small bistro with just like an old tavern.
Yep.
with
underground, maybe?
homemade food,
Oh, okay.
with home-baked pies, all of that, and maybe some drinks, maybe.
Maybe in the future. Yeah.
Things happen. And
With a lot
and
of vodka.
beverages.
and
Well,
wine.
we'll
Mulled
see
wine.
how far we can go.
Yeah.
And at the same time, because the level we're going for
Mm-hmm.
is not exactly a tavern level.
Okay.
It's going to be more like a higher level of cuisine.
Okay.
Not molecular cuisine, of course, but still something more refined and exquisite.
Ooh.
So this is why we thought that the handle
Mm-hmm.
is a good name, especially with the referring to that composer. It
Mm-hmm.
adds a hint of exquisity to it.
That's awesome.
I think.
So is that going to be a seated restaurant, or are you still going to be at the market?
We will still be at the market,
Okay.
because this is where our customers, they used to see us. They want to see us. It's a great promotional opportunity. It's a great communication opportunity to be there and see the reaction. We always give away samples. We communicate with our customers. It's very important to have this feedback. Even when we have our cafe, we're thinking to start small and develop naturally and gradually, and in the direction that the society and the community needs. I guess we just want to observe and see how it goes. We want to start with something like a small cafe pastry shop with a couple of tables, maybe.
Okay.
With coffee, our style, and beverages and teas necessary. Really are lacking that tradition, because our pastries are just they combine with teas and coffee perfectly. They're just made for each other. So we are thinking to start with something small and do maybe like a grab and go for the soups and savory meals, and then again see where it brings us.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
But still, we still want to be at the market. We still want to be there for our customers. So when we finish the rebranding process, when we come back to the market in January, and I think the next market starts January 25th, we want to be there as handle with some maybe hot soups.
Okay.
And cakes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So this partnership continues into something even bigger.
Yes,
Coming up.
and it's also like I've been not related to the food industry,
Yeah.
and same, she was not. She's a
wow.
clinical psychologist by education, and I'm a pharmacist, and it's a very.
Oh, you were a pharmacist?
I never worked. I'm
Oh,
saying
okay.
by education. She did.
oh.
She was a practicing a clinical psychologist. I think maybe this is why we managed to get along so well, because my
Wow.
friend is a clinical psychologist.
Wow.
Yes, she has been very supportive, actually. I can't say that she's been my personal therapist, even though we do joke about that sometimes. That I can say that I need to talk to my therapist. You know what? Maybe it had played its part in our companionship.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's just
to have a friend.
very, very supportive, very understanding. We're on the same, like we're looking in the same direction. She's very compassionate. She is very generous. It was her. She's done a lot for this fundraising, and I know how giving she is. Sometimes we have to like stop ourselves and say that no, we can't do this. We'll go broke if we, continue. We have to think for the future, but we really need our business to have more of a purpose, more of a mission, except of, like sharing what we like. It's something like at a level when you find something good and you want to tell all the world about it. So we really want to share what we like. We want to do it well. Because as experience shows, things can be done differently. I mean, the same kind of cake can be baked differently.
Sure.
And it will not be.
I mean, you bring your unique touch to it.
Unique touch. Definitely. And the level of quality. That's what matters. I'm a perfectionist, and I think that you can't compromise on quality. Never.
You make me want to eat cake right now.
I know, it would combine very well with your coffee. I was saying we have a lot in common. So I believe this is why we have no reasons to doubt that our business will be successful. We're both hardworking to the extremes. We have similar understanding of quality, and we have we're the same soft-hearted, I guess, when it comes to helping other people. And we have this need of doing something for others. When I just came here, I have always been a giver instead of taking something from others. It has always been an issue, while giving was always making me happy. And so when I came here, losing most of what I had earned and what I have achieved in my life, leaving all of that behind in Ukraine and being in need in a way. And my friends have been helping me a lot. They've done so much for me that I will never stop being grateful. I'm forever grateful. And one of my friends who is also, she's not, she's
where does this friend live? Where does she live, that friend?
She lives here. She's a teacher. Okay. She's not making a lot of money, yet she wanted to support me too. When I think about this situation, I always refer to a biblical story when Jesus said that when you have a lot and you give, there was a story when these rich people who were donating something to the temple. And then a woman who had nothing donated her last to the temple, and he said that she gave a penny, but she gave more than all of you did, even though you gave a lot. But compared to her, who had nothing,
it was a lot.
It was more than all of you that gave. And so she was still trying to support me, and I said, no, I can't accept this. And she insisted, finding words saying that it will hurt her. And I said, well, I want to do something for you. And she said something that I will never forget. She said, do it for somebody else. It must be a never broken circle of goodness. I did something to you, pass it to somebody else, and they will pass it to somebody else in need.
Yeah. Continue to give back.
Yes.
Continue to put goodness in the world.
Exactly.
And then it has that amplifying effect where other people then benefit, but also want to do the same. And she encouraged you to give back to others instead of giving back to her, which then, it's very powerful. And I love that.
And I always remember that. And it made me, I guess, cope with the situation I was in when I had to go out of my way to accept all this help, because it was something.
Was it hard?
It was hard
to accept the help from others?
Yes. I don't know. Maybe it's my personal issues, because, like I said, people are different, and I have always been the giver for others. And being in this situation when I had to accept help was unusual, not natural, and stressful and hard. And when she said that, and I always wanted to give back, like, you give me something, I want to do something for you right away, give it back even more than you did for me. And when she said that, it helped me cope. I thought, okay, I will accept this help. I will use it in a way to grow and develop and become able to help others.
Since it has moved you so much.
Oh, it has. Yes.
Is it something you also try to instill into your son?
Oh,
how does that play a role with you being a mom?
They don't, they will not remember what you told them, but they will remember what you have been doing. It's raising children is not about telling them what to do. It's about showing by your own example. I think that's what matters the most. And I see that he has, he's very, very much like me in so many ways, but not because I have ever been, telling him these things, just because he has been observing. He had to grow up a little bit, I guess, earlier than most of boys his age because of his experience, which I have mixed feelings about. I'm proud of him, but at the same time, I would maybe want him to have more of a childhood, like an extended childhood, instead of being so wise in his, young age. At the same time, I think he's becoming an amazing human being, and will have his impact in a way with time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like I said, you don't tell them what to do, you show them what to do.
Yeah. So you've shown him without even
not intentionally.
Exactly, without even wanting to necessarily, but just the way you've been acting, the way you've been doing, the way you've been being. But even being, I'm sure, is an inspiration to him every day.
There is a saying that happy parents have happy kids, right? I think it's there's a very profound meaning to it. It's not just about being happy. It's just being the way you are makes them observe that energy, that experience, that life position, everything. They learn from example better than from words, because especially when words don't match your deeds, that's just confusing.
Following up on that, have you found a new sense of home in your current place of residence? And if so, what makes it feel like home?
It's not an easy question for me, because I'm only in the process of letting go of my home and understanding that in my life, in the years, I guess, that I have left, It will not be the same. My country will not restore itself as to how I remember it, and the war is still on. We don't know when it will end. We don't know how it will end. When it started, we expected the misunderstanding to be resolved in a day or two, you know, and it will be 3 years in February. I guess the home is where your loved ones are. Definitely. This is what, I guess, the only thing that holds you to a certain place. It's not things, it's not never something material. In that sense, yes, now I understand that the majority of the people I love are here. Of course, parts of my heart are spread all over the world, but if I have to answer that question, then yes, I did find a sense of home here.
That's beautiful.
I wish it was a more cheerful conversation.
No. I think I can relate too. I mean, especially during the holidays.
Oh yes,
Right?
I think this is the right moment and the wrong moment at the same time to talk about these things. Really, because the holidays, you know, I found a friend here maybe a year ago. Unexpectedly, just someone became close and influenced my life and has been so supportive. And my friend Olga, he is also in the food industry. He was planning to help us set up the coffee process of like pick a coffee maker, because he was unfortunately in that business, and he died. And he died sometime in early fall. He was fighting cancer and he lost the battle, and my friend was also experiencing health issues, and it was so unfair and at the same time amazing how the short friendship influenced both of us. She was telling me that she understood what, like, really felt what she was going through because of him. She realized that it might have ended differently for her too, and made her value, the life and this second chance that she's been given when she had a similar health issue, and she succeeded in that battle, I guess, that fight.
Yeah.
And he was just so supportive. He was so undoubtful about what I'm doing, about that the business, that it would definitely be successful with this approach, that he actually motivated me into taking some further steps, even like thinking that maybe, despite yes, sometimes me being disturbed with with everything, that maybe I'm ready for the next step, in the development of my business. And so it was just so miraculous that sometimes, like, people come into your life just to serve that specific purpose, and then they sometimes go. And especially you remember them closer to holidays, always.
It's like the presence, the presence, but in your heart.
Yes.
Of the people that you care about, that have made an impact, or that you wish well?
Yes, maybe you're just remembering all the people that you love and you want to wish all the best to, and you're just collecting, processing your current memories. Maybe you're just, making conclusions when the year end is approaching.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any tips for when you feel homesick? That homesickness of or missing some loved ones that you can't be with, or at times that are maybe a little more, you feel a little more sensitive, because sensitive might not be the right word, but a little more emotional because it's the time where, as holidays, like where people gather. Do you have any tips for anyone maybe listening that, are in the same position and try to get out of that funk, or try to better go through a period of time that they just miss home so much? What has worked for you?
I think the replacement works for me. Of course, situations are different. If you just, you are missing somebody who you can reach out to and tell them that you miss them and you love them, and talk to them and try to be closer to them in ways. What I did for this holiday season, I asked my mom to ship some of the Ukrainian candies here. And all my friends got boxes of chocolates from Ukraine.
Wow.
The ones that I used to love as a child. And also I have implemented another tradition, and you might be familiar with that. Okay. It's hanging candies on the Christmas tree.
Okay, well, we do candy cane growing up, but for you, what kind of...
So what we do is different, separately wrapped assortment candies. Very different. They must be different. This is the fun part.
Okay.
And you hang them all over the tree in different places, unexpected, and then children hunt them. And it's a very interesting process to watch, because they have their preferred candies that they're looking for all over the tree, and then they have their compromise candies that when they don't find the favorite ones, they would say, okay, I'll do this one. And then they have those they completely avoid. And they would only eat them when there's nothing else left on the tree except of that. So I also asked Mom to ship me some of those separately packed candies for tree decorations, and I made small bags and gave it to some of my friends, so they can friends who have kids, so they can play that game too, and maybe if they like it, do it next year, and just kind of adopt the tradition, which I just loved it as a child.
Yeah, and really the parents just fill the Christmas tree with all these chocolates and candies.
They are different candies, actually. They don't have to be chocolate. Some of them are like marmalades, jelly kind of candies.
And then as a kid, you can go in the Christmas tree at a specific time, or just whenever, and then you try to find your favorite ones?
It's more like hunting. Parents would say, you had enough sweets. Don't come near the tree. And you try to, casually just walk past the tree, maybe grab something, and or they would tell you, okay, you can go get one candy from that tree. That's just fun.
Yeah. So then, so that's a tradition that you're bringing here, even from candies from...
Yes, it was something I was growing up with, and yes, maybe sharing some of these traditions made me feel closer to home, to my childhood, for the loved ones that are gone. Also, it relates to some of the recipes, to my Christmas dogs, and some of the sweets that we make, cakes that we bake, that make all of that home, former understanding, feeling of home closer. And when you have it here with those new friends, and other people that you love close to you, it kind of feels like one big happy home.
Yeah.
I
like that.
I think
love that.
that's the only tips. Yes. Also, losing, unfortunately, makes you, I mean, unfortunately, it's the losing that makes you value what you have so much, and the people that are with you, and that you are, that you become less ignorant and less neglective towards them, and you value the quality time more, and you will put aside whatever you're busy with to spend time with them, because you understand that there isn't all that much time.
Is your mom okay in Ukraine?
She's okay. It was her choice to stay. It's always harder for older people to immigrate, even with her experience, that she lived here for a couple of years, and she's also very fond of her friends, and she would love to visit maybe someday, but her choice is to stay in Ukraine. She says until the victory. At least she's not going anywhere, but like I said, we don't know where this is going. My sister, she lives in Netherlands for more than over 10 years for personal reasons. She's married to a Dutch. My brother-in-law is Dutch, and she has been inviting mom to come and stay with her a lot. The friends here and I would love her to come and stay too, but it's a choice. Yeah. It's like with Ilona, it was her choice, and however heartbroken we were, she's a grown-up person, and she felt the call. She felt some kind of, I don't know, purpose maybe, to go back and serve her mission there, I guess.
How often do you get to talk to her?
She only left, I think it was November 31st. She just recently left, and Olga and I, we try to stay in touch. She likes to FaceTime Olga. I have been very busy with my order, so I couldn't, I didn't have that much time to talk. Like almost on daily basis, I would say, we communicate. It's, at some point we were trying to read less news because it was very traumatic. But now having Ilona there, we have to be we have to keep up with everything that's going on. With mom, I mean, I love my mom, but the relationship is very complicated for so many reasons. Like even her choice to stay in Ukraine was accepted, but it raised also several issues. It's the eternal problem, parents and kids, especially grown-up kids and parents.
We're coming to an end. Lisa, you've been so generous with your time and the stories. I'd love for you to share, how can people follow you with your business? And also, how can people support your initiatives? Ilona, your friend, being on the front lines or helping the Ukrainian community. What can people do if they're interested in supporting you, supporting them? How would that work? How would you redirect anyone interested in doing that?
Supporting our business will automatically mean supporting Ukraine, because like I said, for us it's it's more than business. It's a mission. We started it. It's not something I really like to share, but in the very beginning, when I was still learning, when it just started and I started making my first money, I believed that I had like as many Ukrainians who left their country to safety. We have this kind of we feel kind of guilty, you know, towards remorse, guilt. I don't know how to define it correctly, towards the people who stayed. So we understand our position, like we're safe and warm and not hungry, and we're not experiencing any of the horrors of the war that they're experiencing. So yes, I guess maybe we do feel kind of guilty for leaving all of that behind. So from the very beginning, and it actually what kept me going in tough times, I committed myself to sharing some percentage of my income with a church, like a daughter church of IPC in Ukrainian city of Vinnytsia. I was doing that until recently, like from the beginning when the business started, and until recently when Olga and I decided that we have not heard much back from. We want to see what we're doing. We want to it motivates us, you know, just at least to see where the money goes. So I have not heard much back from them. I mean, I believe they serve their mission and everything's fine, but I really need to know that I can change something with my work, that I can do something. So Olga and I, we decided that we're going to change the approach now that we have Ilona there and we have some kind of control over where the money actually goes to. We wanted to be specific people who were really influenced by war and are in real need. Like Ilona found a boy who's an orphan. He lost both parents in the war, and there was a heartbreaking story, and she took like a patronage over that boy, and then there are several more families, and then we will be looking for more people. So we want to be there, you know, through her and see where the money goes, and maybe do more. So we're just, you know, with all this rebranding, restyling, where we want to also change our charity approach. We will probably be doing more fundraisings. We will have something like a line for donations. We will be telling the story. We want the people to know, like I said, we just got some photo and video materials from Ilona about what she's done for Christmas. We are about to share that. And this is how it's going to be. And of course, besides the fundraisings and donations and everything else, our business will keep supporting Ukraine too, and the people in need.
That's a beautiful mission. On social media, currently it's at...
Currently we have
Cake Honeys.
Yes, it's a Magic Pot.
At the Magic Pot? The Magic Pot? Or
no,
Magic
it's Magic Pot BHM on Instagram, and Cake Honeys, I think, underscore on for Cake Honeys.
Awesome.
Yes, that's until rebranding. Whatever information regarding the rebranding, it will be displayed in our accounts, and we will make sure that our customers can find us.
Awesome. The handle.
That's going to be the handle. Yes.
How exciting. Lisa, I hope the war comes to an end.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing everything you shared with us today. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Something that I might not have asked you that you'd like to share?
Oh, not something that I can think of right now. And thank you for having me over, and thank you all for listening. And I want to appreciate all the support, and we love this community. I love being here. It has become my second home, and I wouldn't, right now at this point of my life, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
I love that for you. I love that. Much success in the continuation of your business.
Thank you.
That's very exciting. I look forward to just keeping in touch with you and seeing how it continues to grow. I will need to go. I will definitely come. Sam and I will come step by whenever
absolutely.
it opens. But yeah, again, thank you for everything. And Dyakuyu. Merci.
That is so sweet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to From Where to Here. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who loves discovering new cultures. Follow us on Instagram at From Where to Here Pod for exclusive updates, behind the scenes moments, and a peek at upcoming guests. Until next time, keep learning, keep connecting, and keep celebrating the beauty of languages and cultures. À bientôt!